what was the bottom for you?
Well, thank you for asking, and I could have definitely used your program back then. I was really pretty much giving up on life. So, yes, if we rewind back, I had a pretty traumatic childhood, and then I married that. Let's just say I married that on steroids, and I was married 20 years, and the marriage broke me. And so I literally left after a breakdown. And my doctor looked at me, and I was, 45 at the time, and he said, "You don't get out, you're not going to make it." I had been in and out of the hospital,
Mm.
major surgeries, all kinds of illnesses. I had 2 cases of spinal meningitis, and my ex-husband would just literally leave me to die. He would like it was crazy. So, and I didn't know how crazy it was when you're in it. It's one thing, and to get out of it, then you're starting to look at it from a different place. And so I really lost myself completely, and I left the marriage, and I left Chicago, and I came out to LA to get my master's in spiritual psychology. I've been on a spiritual path for 30 plus years. And so I wanted to do a deep dive in my inner world and find out, like, how did this happen? Make sure it was never going to happen again. And so when I was in the program, I had my second case of spinal meningitis, and I just kept getting sicker and sicker. I went in, had a second colon resection. I've just had so many crazy things. And finally, I switched doctors at that point because I knew something was horribly wrong. I was extremely thin. I could barely eat. I was just sickly. I was severely depressed, and my doctors kept treating me for PTSD. But what they were missing is I had Lyme disease, and the doctors traced it back over 10 years because the 2 cases of spinal meningitis, which is neural Lyme, it's a very common complication with Lyme disease. So they traced it back 10 years, and I'd been living with Lyme disease in my body that had gotten into my brain. So by the time I went under treatment, it was a very quick time. I was bedridden within a month and needed full-time care. I couldn't do anything for myself. I decided I really set an intention, and that was how I healed. I look at Lyme disease as basically there's a circle of wellness and there's a circle of illness. And energetically, I had made a decision that I was going to be well. I was well. That was it. Lyme disease was gone, even though my reality, it wasn't gone. I was going to live as if it was. And since that day I set that intention, that was spring of 2015, I've never thought about it, never worried about it. I was told I could never heal. The doctor said, "I've never seen a case like yours. We don't know what to do." They've given up, and it's all gone. So there is a power in intention. There is a power in, making that decision to be well and to live well and to change your reality. And mine literally changed, and I decided I was just going to follow sort of the breadcrumbs of the universe. You put something in front of me, I'm going to say yes. I'm going to go for everything. I'm going to go for my dreams. I'm going to ask for the moon. And what have I got to lose? I've already pretty much lost whatever I could, right? And so I'm
Right.
coming from zero. I might as well go for it. And so, yeah, within, gosh, 2 years, maybe a year and a half, I'd launched 6 businesses.
Do you set an intention daily since you just
Oh,
talked about?
daily, and usually multiple times a day. A big one in my master's in spiritual psychology class, we learned to actually do bedtime intentions. So most people set them in the morning, which is wonderful. It gets you through, giving you sort of an energetic plan for the day, should we say. And then at night, you can have your subconscious working for you. So bedtime intentions are really powerful as well. I
Okay,
set a lot of
talk
intentions.
about that because I this is the first time hearing about bedtime intentions. So I love learning new stuff. So tell me
Sure.
about them.
So basically, before you go to bed is a really powerful time. First of all, the first intention is to let go of anything that you kind of bringing with you throughout the night, and then to call in. Use that your subconscious mind, right? Start whatever it is that you intend for your life. Maybe it's a dream for to meet a partner. Maybe it's moving abroad. Maybe it's traveling the world. Whatever it is, nighttime is the most powerful time to set those intentions. So once you clear the stuff that you've attracted from the day and you set an intention and you go to bed, that intention is now planted in your subconscious mind, and your subconscious, your dreams, all of that is now working for you and helping you, to create this new reality, to bring these things into your life. It's a really powerful time. Most people don't know that.
Okay, so you said you changed, your beliefs changed, and your life began to dramatically transform, and you let go of who you were told to be in order to become who you wanted, just really desired to be, not like what other people told you. Oh, I think, Catherine, you should be this. You must have, besides your transformation, which is, I mean, magical, you must watch other women make the same transformation.
Well, we're all different. Our transformations are different. The
Yeah.
one thing I will say is midlife. So we have this thing called the North Node. If you know anything about horoscopes and astrology, when we're born, there is a North Node. We hear about the Saturn return, all of that. We don't hear about the North Node. We all have a South Node. South Node is generally who we're programmed to be. At midlife, the North Node comes into play. And the North Node is like our North Star. It's who we are authentically meant to be in our soul. And that is that, Brene Brown will talk about this middleness urging that comes from within. Well, that's the voice of our soul that really starts heating up at midlife and beyond if we have not, gone that direction. So it starts pivoting us. And oftentimes there are illnesses, there are all kinds of things that happen at that time to wake us up and shake us up. So we'll start getting on that authentic track that we're meant to be on, not the one, that we've, like I said, told to be, taught to be, but, who we've been sort of conformed to be. We get to break out of that box and be who we choose to be, who we dream to be.
For people who are listening and they're like, I'm not sure what that is, but I get it. I've been sick, I've had this, but I'm just not sure. I've been so immersed in the life I'm in and I don't like it. Would you tell them to figure that out?
Well, all our answers are within, right? I mean, there's no question that, first of all, if you are in a place where you're not feeling good, not feeling happy, not ready, I was in a space where it was dread in the morning, like literally sheer dread. I had this awful feeling, open my eyes and be like, oh my God, I got to face another day. And that's a horrible
Yeah.
feeling. So that means change course, right? That is your soul screaming, wrong track, wrong track. So then there's some excavating to do. Like I said, first it's, what the heck are you telling yourself about yourself? Like it's one thing other people, doing this to you. It's another thing we start doing it to ourselves in here. So we have to clear the gunk out, right? And then we need to go back to who we were as children. That's our authentic self. What did we love? What lit us up? And so really start playing with that energy. There is an exercise we did in my master's course. We did a lot of things. It doesn't sound like it's a master's course, but it was really tapping into that inner child. So that inner child inside of us, we have inner children, right? We have all different, parts of ourselves, younger selves inside of us. And a lot of those inner children at different times in our life were wounded. And so we need to take that inner child out. We need to help heal her, help, close up those wounds and those triggers, and also find what sparks her joy, because what sparks your inner child is also what sparks your midlife and beyond human. It's just we forget that. We forget to play. We forget to have fun. We get so darn serious. I mean, look, you're a lawyer, for heaven's sakes, talk about serious stuff. Like we get so crazy serious that we forget to create. We forget to go play. We forget to go dance. All these things that bring out different parts of ourselves. Midlife and beyond to me is the ultimate time of self-discovery, but not that self we were told to be, taught to be, the self who we choose to be.
What about the person that they're afraid? What do you tell people that are afraid to take that leap?
We're all afraid. We're all afraid. So this is what I would say to that. I think of, I'll use the midlife analogy again, a trapeze. So when a trapeze artist they go from one platform to another, right? So when they leave the platform, there's this in between unknown. They can fall, right? But you're ultimately, truly, there's a net there. You're probably not going to fall and you're going to end up on the other platform. But there is an in between time when you're going to get those butterflies and you're going to be afraid. So fear actually is a good thing. We have our ego and we have our authentic self. It's our ego's job to keep us in fear. It's our ego's job to keep us in that uncomfortable comfort zone, right? Where we're too afraid to squish out of it, even if it's making us so small. So fear, not the kind of fear where you're going to be harmed, right? That kind of fear is what they say, false evidence appearing real. These are stories we tell ourselves. I was terrified. I had no voice. I had never been in public. I had no social media. I could no more do a talk show or interview anybody, be a model. I was hiding all the time. I was taught to hide, taught to be invisible. So it was terrifying. But also, again, we can flip those butterflies into something that's exciting, right? It's an opportunity. It's, anytime we have anything that is a contraction inside of us, that's what fear is. It's an energetic contraction. We know that comes from ego. That is never from our authentic self. So it's always the moment to step back and go, oh, okay, I got that. Ego, get out of the way here. I'm going to go forward, right? Go into the fire. I'm not going to run away from this now. So fear is a good thing. That kind of fear is a good thing. It means you're pushing outside of, that box that you've been put in.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I love the trapeze analogy. That was so good.